Hello and welcome to Being Extraordinary. My name is Sarah Kent and I help women to connect to and create their dreams. Would you like to know some simple things that you can do each day to help become more resilient? Well, this series of videos is all about resilience and the different things which can help us to build resilience. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about character and how we can work on aspects of our character to help us become more resilient. Now, if you're a woman and you find this helpful, you'll find a lot of value and support in my Facebook group, Being Extraordinary, and you'll see a link in the description below this video. I'd love to see you there. Now, do you know people who seem to be naturally resilient? People who just seem to take whatever life throws at them in their stride? What is it about their character which makes them resilient? Now, people of exceptional character tend to stand out from the crowd because they've developed the wisdom and strength to know and to do the right thing in the face of pressures and temptations to do otherwise. The good news is that it's never too late to work on our character. And all we need to do is to become more present and notice the choices that we can make in each moment. Now, this does require us to be self aware and also to be our own best friends, to show ourselves compassion, to notice when we're following old patterns of negative thinking, and to be prepared to try new ways of being and thinking. This does link to elements such as confidence, control, and coping, which I've touched on in earlier in this series of videos on resilience. It also links to mindset and knowing that we can change the way we think. So let's come back to people who seem to be naturally resilient. What are the things that they do and say which we can learn from and use to help us to become more resilient? I'm going to talk about three different facets of a resilient character. And I'm going to start with one of the things that resilient people are able to do, and that's the way that they view setbacks as impermanent. They seem to be able to acknowledge that this too will pass. They see the effects of bad events as temporary rather than permanent. This means that they don't get caught up in catastrophic thinking and they're much better able to be present in the moment so that they can find solutions or workarounds. But one way to help develop this character trait is to take the perspective that life is happening for me. I'll say that again. Life is happening for me instead of life is happening to me. Taking this perspective helps us to remain in an active role instead of a passive one in any situation. And it helps us to remain curious about what we can learn from a situation instead of labeling ourselves perhaps as a failure. All of this can help us to reframe setbacks as opportunities for growth, no matter the situation. And especially when things haven't gone as we'd hoped, we can always ask ourselves, what is most important to me here? And how can I learn and grow from this? These questions are helpful whether the situation is in our control or not. A second thing that resilient people do is to continually cultivate a resilient mindset. So, this means that they are able to notice their patterns of thinking and recognize when they're caught up in self limiting beliefs or a negative state of mind. Our thoughts very much influence the way we feel about a situation. And the challenge lies in being able to reframe or changing our patterns of thinking. So, the good news is that we are not our thoughts. The very fact that you can notice what you are thinking shows that you have an awareness that is much larger than your thoughts alone. So practice having thought awareness and become your own best friend. Listen to how you talk to yourself when something goes wrong. And if you can find yourself making statements that are negative, ask yourself, what supportive things your best friend would say? This helps to develop a more positive and resilient mindset. If you find yourself struggling with this, it can help to set an intention at the beginning of each day to be your own best friend and to choose a positive affirmation to carry with you to help you if you find yourself caught up in negative thinking. This is a practice, but with time, you'll be able to replace unhelpful patterns of thinking with more supportive ones, and this will help to build your resilience. The third thing I want to touch on today is that resilient people commit to all aspects of their life. They understand that everything is interconnected and that there isn't any one thing that will suddenly make you happy. They understand that success or setbacks in one area of life can affect all other areas of life too. So it is important to care for every single aspect of your life. So try imagining your life as a garden with you as the gardener. Every part of the garden needs your care and attention for those plants to flourish. Even in winter, there'll be parts of the garden which will nourish you so long as you give them care. Only you will know which parts of your garden you've been neglecting. What needs to happen for you to care and tend to that aspect of your garden, to care and tend for that aspect of your life? All good gardeners have a positive outlook of the future, whilst at the same time being open and adaptable and learning to change. So take some time to reflect on this question. When I'm living a life that nourishes me, that's like what? Use this question to explore the different parts of your life and to identify what you can do to start creating a truly nourishing life. Because a nourishing life is one which will strengthen your natural resilience. So I hope you found this helpful today and perhaps take some of the practices and questions I've offered you to help you develop an even more resilient character. As I mentioned at the beginning, if you're a woman who has a dream and who wants to make a difference in and with your life, you'll be very welcome in my Facebook group, Being Extraordinary. The link's in the description below the video. Request to join and I'll welcome you personally. In the group, I share the knowledge and experience I've built over the years as a wild soul coach to help you on your journey to creating your dreams. I'm Sarah Kent, and until next time, be extraordinary.